Warm greetings from the I-10. It's Everyday Shenanigans. Thanks for joining me. Hello, trucker. How you doing? Thanks for joining me. Please take a seat and join the live stream in the wee hour. It's early morning Tuesday here in the I-10, almost 1:15 a.m. Please, no cursing and no names mentioned. If you decide to give commentary in this live, we know who you're speaking of. You don't need to give any names. I don't want the names in my chat. Thank you so kindly. God bless all of you. As most of you know, there's a lot of buffoonery going on. The I-10 stinks right about now. Yeah, it's real funky in the I-10. Real funky. But that's to be expected. It's always some shenanigans on the horizon. Feel free to hit the link to give your opinion pertaining to the latest shenanigans in Hollerville. I'm going to play you the sad commentary by Wjhl. News 11. If you need verification, please check the YTQ for the said information. Thank you for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $BeGanji, 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. Amen. Thank you. Excuse me, still a little hoarse. Very bad weather up here in the I-10. Thank you so much.
Protesters yelled at the parents of Summer Wells as they worked on a home in the Edinburgh Park community of Kingsport.
It's scary. Scary, for sure. I mean, Candace was in tears and she was shaking and all that.
Let me try starting this over. Hold on 1 second. My volume's a little bit low today. Thank you all so much for joining me.
Several protesters yelled at the parents of Summer Wells as they worked on a home in the Edinburgh Park community of Kingsport.
It's scary. It's scary, for sure. I mean, Candace was in tears and she was shaking and all that. She's scared.
The group heard yelling profanities at the parents and loudly claiming the parents had something to do with Summer's disappearance.
Let the police do their job. I mean, I feel that they're just making a mockery out of everything for their YouTube channel and personal gain. I don't think they pretend that they're all about Summer and they care about Summer, but I think otherwise.
But Wells says today was not the first time he's seen the protesters. From his front porch this weekend, several hundred feet from the road, you could hear protesters screaming over bullhorns.
The protesters, have been coming to our house probably 6 times in total, just making a mockery out of everything.
Are you afraid for your life?
Well, there at first it was very scary. It could be bad. It could be dangerous. It has been. But we just want to get back to normal. And
Wells says the protesters' presence has been taxing.
I remember my stomach being in a knot just constantly, not being able to sleep. If I did sleep, when I woke up, as soon as I wake up, first thing on my mind is Summer. Where's Summer? And just begging God, just constantly, that was my baby, my little girl. She was always with me.
Wells keeps in contact with investigators, not giving up hope.
I even hear from people time to time where TBIs has contacted them because their cell phone happened to ping in the area. So I know that they're still working. They're still looking into things.
Okay, that's the said information by Wjhl. Well, let's talk about what Don has to say. Candace crying. Well, as someone in the chat said, she didn't cry for Summer, so what does that mean? I don't know if she cried or not. I didn't see her, and I don't think she cried because of the situation. You want things to get back to normal? Well, what is normal for you all? Because what we've seen with you all displaying your personal business on YT, you like to show out, get drunk, turned up, go live with strangers, cuss people out. So what normal are you speaking of? Your normal. Your normal is not most of our normals. For those of us who don't get turned up every day and night, drunk, high, and go live and make a fool out of ourselves. As far as the YouTubers making a mockery out of the case, yes, many are. And so have you and your wife. By spinning these lies of your child being abducted, you going into YouTube streets to hang with these people and call them and inbox them, fall out with them, cuss them out. So you are a part of the mockery yourself. Candy hasn't been as vocal as you have been in the YouTube streets, but she has decided now that she wants to jump on the bandwagon as of a week or so ago and join you. So really, when you talk about the YouTubers, you're talking about yourself. And see, that's the thing about, as they would say, when you talk about people, the other four fingers are pointing toward oneself. You are the YouTuber. You are the YouTubers. You now have a YouTube channel, Don and Candy. So you are no different than the people you're speaking of, because you have shown no emotion pertaining to the disappearance of your child. You all have changed the version. I don't know how many times. I don't have enough fingers to keep up with the different versions, the add-ons, the takeaways. So you are the people you're speaking of. Now, some are going to question what's right, what's wrong. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm not here to argue about nothing. Because in a way, it's karma. To some degree, you can't even really say that it's not. You put this element out here. Most of us believe you harmed your child. So you're asking for this trouble. It's a little late in the game, but nonetheless, it's come home to Hollerville. But is it appropriate to go to someone's job? Because in the end, that's the employer's job if they want to keep the person. Their prerogative, excuse me. It is their choice to keep that said person on as an employer. Whether they think they're guilty or not, that is still their choice. The fact that it's in a neighborhood, that's where it gets grainy. Kind of like Florida. Nobody really gives a fuck about Donald Wells and Candy. These people are homeowners and they want to have peace and quiet. And they don't want to hear bullhorns and all that bullshit where they live. And they have that right. That's where they live. That's where they pay bills. When I first looked at the video, I thought this was going to be a business. Okay? A business. But it was not. I saw rooftops of homes. So therefore, you're not just impeding on someone's workspace, workplace. There's also people there trying to work. There's also people who live in the neighborhood who can hear you hollering and screaming, such as the BS that went on in Florida. Those people didn't have anything to do with what was going on down there in the neighborhood. Those are homeowners, taxpayers. And last time they checked, you weren't on the deed. You weren't on the lease, nor were you on the deed. So they don't want to wake up hearing people hollering and screaming, fussing, blocking the driveways, blocking the streets, all type of traffic, loitering. You're impeding on someone's personal space and peace and quiet and civility. And you wouldn't like it if it was happening in your neighborhood. Whether you believe the people in the neighborhood are guilty, aiding, abetting, whichsoever, you still live there and you wouldn't want it done to you. But see, that's what we learn about people. It's easy to say what should and should not be going on until it's in your backyard. And then you would feel some type of way. Should these people have gone to the job? Or should law officials handle the situation? Because 9 times out of 10, they are investigating this case still. TBI, Knoxville Field Office, FBI, Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, and other agencies. And you do hear Mr. Wells mention that. Let them do their job. He also mentioned something about he knows they're still working on the case, about people being in the area, cell towers. I don't know what the hell Don's talking about, and that means nothing to me because Don makes up a lot of stuff, and I know they're not going to tell Don nothing because nobody's been ruled out as a suspect. So TBI Hawkins County will not be telling him anything about cell tower usage, pings off phones. Why would they do that? Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to the commentary of Mr. Wells speaking to Wjhl News about his life being disrupted, home life, people coming to the property 6 times, people making a mockery out of this case pertaining to his daughter, his wife crying, give your commentary. Thank you so much. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you, Outlaw. Amy, no thanks. No, thank you, honey. Well, thank you all for joining me. And thank you for the support. I'm at 11,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much for watching the content, sharing the content, commenting. Thank you so much. God bless all of you. Hello, Joey. How are you, sweetheart? Hello to everyone in the chat. 84 viewing. Amen. Don sure does use a lot of those $10 words when he's on TV pretending to be proper. Yes, very mild-mannered, stoic. That's why you know he's just as goofy as the people he's speaking of. You know, 1 minute you're talking to the news, very quiet, very stoic, but then you're all up in people's chats and back rooms and hollering and cussing and using profanity, calling people fags and niggers and all that. Where are the niggers and fags while you're talking to WJHL? Yeah, I'm going to go on and say it. Where are they? Use the same language you use when you're on the live panels. And the people who allow you to speak and use that type of language, they're just as vile and nasty as you are. Because they probably use the same language themselves. All of these people are just unreal, especially Don and Candace. Oh, thank you, CJ. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you. They know what happened this summer. Yes, they know what happened. Yes, they do. And people speaking of the time elapsing, oh, they're waiting to gather evidence. Well, you know, it's easy to say that. And yes, I want these people to get it right. But how many more months are we going to go? Because we're approaching month 7. See, that's the thing about time. Time waits on no one. Because 1 minute you're talking about a child missing. It's week 1, week 2. Next thing you know, it's 3 months, it's 6 months. Now we're going into month 7. Before you know it, we'll be back in shorts and bathing suits. Because that's how time goes. It doesn't wait for anybody. It doesn't wait for the cops to get it right, the detectives to get it right, information on a device. Time doesn't wait for that. It keeps ticking. The clock keeps ticking. Hello, Rowena. How you doing? I'm sure all of these players there know what happened. Yes. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to what Don had to say about these people showing up to his job. What does his boss have to say? How about that? We've heard from a Dudley. We've asked about the boss and all that mess about paint. Not paint, but mud and buckets and this and that. As I said in that commentary, could we have us a dirty boss that had Don using a least amount of mud? So what if this boss isn't on the up and up? He doesn't care? Obviously, he doesn't. I think that's self-explanatory. Don has continued to work for this man despite all the gossip and he said, she said. Neighbors letting people know they don't want you on their property. We know they got something to do with it, but hey, don't come around here hooping and hollering, which they have every right to say that. You see, that's how a lot of people are. They don't have to tell you how they feel about a subject matter, because frankly, it's none of your damn business how they feel, how they think. They don't have to tell you anything. Same with the boss. I don't have to tell you what I think of Don Wells, but he's my worker. I'm going to keep him on anyway. Workers are hard to find. As you see, so many people hiring. Nobody wants to work at the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General, Taco Bell. Can't get a job done these days. Nobody wants to work. Mediocre work. So now we have to ask ourselves, if we believe Dudley, Don really has been doing mediocre work. So that means the boss has to be in cahoots with what he's been doing. Stay woke. Wouldn't somebody be complaining by now? Stay woke. I would tell you, analyze the situation, information that's been brought to you. Maybe there's more to it than you think. Maybe the boss is not a good boss. He's not reputable. If we were to believe what Dudley has had to say pertaining to the work ethic of Mr. Don Wells. Whoever thought you'd be hearing about mixing mud and things? Lord have mercy. I'm done. I'm done and I'm dead. It's crazy nonsense. Not sure, Queen, but it might be a liability. If he fired him, he may be stuck with Don at the moment. Could be. Irene, I don't know. I can't say what's the truth because I don't know these people. I don't know. My thing is you can take everything with a grain of salt. What you believe pertaining to who said what, who saw what they witnessed about Candy, Don, the children. You don't know. You don't know what's the truth. You don't know if it's somebody trying to get 5 minutes of fame from YouTube. I don't know why people think people are famous on YouTube. Some of you are getting these YouTubers mixed up with famous people. You know, we're not talking about Diana Ross, Oprah Winfrey, somebody like that with a YouTube channel. So I don't know how these people thinking they're about to get, blow up famous from talking to these YouTubers. Because it's not like you're talking to a YouTuber with 12 million subscribers, 1 million subscribers. Just saying. But that's the thing about attention. Some people don't care how they get the attention, where they get the attention from. Just so long as somebody is talking about them, speaking their name, they're satisfied. Hello, honey. How you doing, Amanda? Welcome. Thank you all so much for joining me. 107 in the room. Thank you. Well, Kaylee, good luck with that. Good luck with getting a TV show. If somebody gave them a show, they need to have their head banged up against the wall as well. Hello, Soul. Thank you, honey. Very sick. Very sick. Hello, Small Fries. How are you? Thank you all for joining me. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to what Don's had to say about these people showing up to his job. My thing is, how long is it going to go on? How long is this case going to go on? How long are we going to keep hearing from these people on YouTube? All of it's goofy to me, really. All of it's goofy. The whole storyline is goofy. And I've never seen such desperate people in all of my life. Desperate, lonely individuals crying, gawking, squawking like dead birds on a microphone and a computer. I'm sick of hearing you. I get sick of going in the queue. It's the same BS every waking day. Thousands of things you can watch on social media. YouTube has so many videos pertaining to how to put on makeup, how to cook a turkey, and then this mess here. And frankly, I wouldn't be listening to anybody that doesn't like certain types of people. Whether they're homosexuals, black, Mexican, those are the kind of people I'd be listening to anyway. I'm going to go ahead and say it. You couldn't tell me anything. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Oh, what are you talking about, Kaylee? Hello, Holly. How are you? Oh, Lord. Y'all got to start talking about the milk. Well, I was hoping you all kind of stayed on subject. Y'all can't stay. Y'all don't know how to stay on the subject, I swear. Lord Jesus. Oh, sorry to hear that, huh? Tonight's subject is pertaining to Don Wells, he's spoken to WJHL News pertaining to some bystanders showing up to his job, ranting and raving. It's in the YouTube queue. I don't know who let him out the loony bin, dear. I didn't know they had any more loony bins. We don't have one here anymore. Lakeshore closed many years ago. So if they let you out, you were on your own to roam the streets until you caught a charge and went to jail. Football messed up my night till now. Oh, okay. Prayers for Don and Candace to be in jail by Summer's birthday. His hearing is on the 6th. Yes, the time is winding down. Yes, we will see what happens. Next month is vastly approaching. Mr. Wells will be attending court for the DUI. We will see how that pans out. If he would get any time in jail or violation of probation, obviously nobody cares in Hollerville, so they need to stay off his property and away from his job, says Amanda. Okay. I don't think it was a story worthy of a news interview. Well, Kimberly, see, this is what happens when you don't have anything pertaining to the child. There are no updates pertaining to Summer, so everything's been about her goofy parents. So that's what makes the news. That's the latest story, such as YouTube. It's the same thing. There's nothing about Summer. So whatever transpires with her parents, then that becomes the news. Then that becomes information repeated on YT, Facebook, Sadly, that's how it is. Yes, Knoxville is a beautiful place. Tennessee's a beautiful place. Up until as of late, it was. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to the nonsense going on. I'll play the interview again so some of you can hear the said information. Thank you for joining me. Hold on one second. WJHL is the source if you need to verify the information.
Several protesters yelled at the parents of Summer Wells as they worked on a home in the Edenburg Park community of Kingsport.
It's scary. It's scary, for sure. I mean, Candace was in tears and she was shaking and all that. She's scared.
The group heard yelling profanities at the parents and loudly claiming the parents had something to do with Summer's disappearance.
Let the police do their job. I mean, I feel that they're just making a mockery out of everything for their YouTube channel and personal gain. I don't think they pretend that they're all about Summer and they care about Summer, but I think otherwise.
But Wells says today was not the first time he's seen the protesters. From his front porch this weekend, several hundred feet from the road, you could hear protesters screaming over bullhorns.
The protesters, been coming to our house probably 6 times in total, and just making a mockery out of everything.
Are you afraid for your life?
Well, there at first it was very scary. It could be bad. It could be dangerous. It has been. But we just want to get back to normal.
Wells says the protesters' presence has been taxing.
I remember my stomach being in a knot just constantly, not being able to sleep. If I did sleep, when I woke up, as soon as I wake up, first thing on my mind is Summer. Where's Summer? And just begging God, just constantly. That was my baby, my little girl. She was always with me.
Wells keeps in contact with investigators, not giving up hope.
I even hear from people time to time where TBIs has contacted them because their cell phone happened to ping in the area. So I know that they're still working. They're still looking into things.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to douse out of here for a second. My screen's acting up. Hold on one second, you guys. Thanks for joining me. Okay. Sorry about that. Summer is haunting him, okay? For all the crimes Don can be accountable for, he's acting scared of Molly. He has been contacting her and told her where he was working. This is more guys. Well, I was wondering how he got to be where he was. I asked somebody about that earlier. I found it interesting how they would know where to go to find him. Just as the mess that happened a month before, with allegedly supposed to be meeting him for lunch, dinner, whatever, and then all that other mess transpired with a certain person running down the driveway. Then we find out days later that Candy was filing a complaint against the said people on the property. Like I said, it was a grand setup. I don't know why anybody would go meet somebody anyway that cursed them out. That makes no logical sense to me. You're talking about people, you don't agree with their actions, their behavior, then you're going to go meet and talk with them about what? That makes no sense to me. And people are going to think you're only doing this shit for the views. I mean, why would they not think that? This makes no logical sense. Don likes female attention. Sick dude. Yes. Hello, Lexi. How you doing, sweetie? Yes. Do not use the names in the chat, please. We know who you're talking about when you give your commentary. Thank you. Yes, he wants things to be back to normal. But as I said earlier in my commentary, your normal isn't a normal. Your normal is getting crunk, getting turned up, geeked up, going live with random strangers on cell phones and computers. But you can sit quiet and stoic to the news. That's why you know he's sick. He's diabolical. Oh, she's crying. She's scared. They've been to the house 6 times. Blah, blah, blah. But at night, you get drunk, turned up, calling people nasty names. So why don't you act like that when you go to the news? Why don't you cuss and fuss with the news reporter? Cuss her out. Call her a bitch. You know? You're not calling her a nigga. You're not calling her a fag. Why not? Why not? Why not? What's the difference between daylight savings time and 1, 2 in the morning on YouTube? Break it down for me. Maybe I'm a little slow. I don't know. Videos to sell to TMZ? Yeah, well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. If that's the motivation, good luck. Very sick people. You know what's amazing about people is that you don't even know who they are until they start talking on social media and making a ruckus and a fool out of themselves. And then somebody shares the content, or let's just say the buffoonery, pass it to Pookie, Ray to Bubba. Then somebody tells you, hey, you need to check out this video of these people doing this, this, and this. And then before you know it, everybody's watching a fool make a fool out of himself about another fool. And it's just like, how did it even get to that point? But as I said earlier, yesterday, chaos breeds chaos. And that's why this case is the way it is. The children were in a chaotic situation. 3 are now in foster care. 1's missing. The company they kept were chaotic. And then people latched on to the story, and they are chaotic. Big mouths, don't know when to shut up. Got to be on. Like this one lady, I was watching her channel earlier. She was saying the same thing I was saying. Who's going live at 5 a.m. for what? Talk about what? New Year's Day, New Year's Eve? You don't have anybody to celebrate with? You don't have any friends or family to talk to? You don't have anybody's house to go drink eggnog or sip wine or a hot toddy or watch a good Lifetime movie, Hallmark channel? You got to be live? That means there's something wrong with your spirit. If you got to be up on a holiday talking about this junk, man, seriously, you need to check yourself. Get your mind right. 7 days out of the week, the wells aren't going anywhere. My daddy used to say that about coming to Tennessee. He said the same people going to be doing the same thing tomorrow, next year. He said, you come to Tennessee, the same person sitting under the same tree doing the same thing. He was right. So you're not missing anything. You see them today, they're drinking the same bottle of wine, liquor under the tree, doing nothing. You come back 6 days from now, next year, they're doing the same damn thing under the same tree. That's what this case is like. You can shut off the computer, never go back into the YouTube queue. When you pick back up, it's just like a soap opera. They're doing the same thing you left them doing. Or what does that tell you? Same thing with the YouTubers. You're doing the same thing I left you out. You're not talking about nothing. You're not doing nothing. And just like another guy was saying, some guy, I don't know if his name is Ernie or whoever. One day you all right with somebody, you in cahoots with this YouTuber, you're laughing and talking, you got him out up on your panel. Next minute, you're talking about him like a dog and you're putting him on blast. You're putting him on Front Street. But see, that's why I tell you, the YouTube streets ain't like the street. Because if it was in the real street, somebody might be laying down on the pavement because some people handle their business like that. They give you a blow to the gut, a blow to the head. It won't be no YouTube talking crazy on no damn microphone and bullhorns and cell phones. Nah, meet me in the street. Let's get gritty with it. You like talking? Because you know everybody knows talk is cheap. Anybody can talk. Run your mouth. Let's square up. It won't be no squaring up. See, that's why you know all this is foolishness. A bunch of lonely people who don't have anything better to do all day, every day. This is their life. I told you all that. When you see people jumping on bandwagons out of nowhere, jumping on cases 5, 6, 7, 8 months into a story, you can't honestly think that they're genuine. Now, you have the freedom to roam the earth as you see fit. You have the freedom to talk about whatever you want to talk about on your cell phone, computer, on a platform, because you're grown. But are you genuine? Because I can't see coming in a story 6 months in for what reason? Hooping and hollering and cussing and fussing about what? Exactly. The people in the town don't even care. So what are you bringing to the table of value, substance? Nothing. Nothing. Like they've been saying about everybody. Just building a channel off a story. Maybe. But everything is about the almighty dollar, is it not? Let's just keep it 100. We're going to go ahead and talk about that subject and push it on out the way. Everything's about the American dollar. YouTube is about the American dollar. Don't get it twisted. Some people call it a spade a spade. YouTube is about making money. They want a share of what you're making off of YouTube. If you are monetized, they make more money from the commercials. So really, you don't really get as much. You got to get it by the views and the donations. So in the end, YouTube is the winner. Ting. So he's the biggest hustler. Whoever owns YouTube, stay woke. They make more money. This is a conglomerate. Stay woke. So YouTube is making the money as well. So we can't just all put it on the YouTubers. YouTube is its own separate entity. And it is a money maker. Such as Google. They're all in cahoots. They're all owned by the same conglomerate. It's all one entity. It's all about the American dollar. It's all self-serving. Come on now. And we know in the game of life, how you start is not how you finish. You may genuinely go in to a situation with a good spirit, a good heart, but somewhere along the line you get lost and you lose your way and you become a damn monster. Just a damn goblin. Eating up everything in sight. And that's your choice. But no, there's a possibility you will be eaten as well. It's the game. You know what gets me, Queen, is these people out here always saying we're doing this for fine summer. people in YT are not going to find someone. They're not going to solve this case. That is what LE does. Yes, I agree. Because that's the point of the story. Nobody even knows where Summer is. Nobody knows what happened on June 15th except the people involved with the child. Whoever took the child, harmed the child, which is whoever discarded the child. So a random person walking up on the scene a day late, $1 short, $15 short to be exact. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know anything about the case because it's not your business, frankly. It's not anybody's business. You just heard it on the news. The little girl's missing. Her parents have been acting a fool on social media, showing you they don't give a damn about their kids. And then you just come along on a damn broke-ass donkey talking like you know something. You don't know nothing. You want to know something, so you make up stuff as you go along to get attention. But is that all you want to be about? Obviously so, and that's your prerogative. That is your prerogative. Hello, Wjhl. Thank you, Donna. Will this crazy clown show produce justice? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not at all. I live about 20 miles from Ben Hill Road. These two are in a lane all by themselves. Yes, they are. Well, we don't have any proof, Holly, that Candace has anything to do with Rose Bly. You have to have some proof, honey. Because allegedly she said she was in between Wisconsin and Arkansas. So you have to have some proof that she was even living in the state of Wisconsin at the time that her sister went missing. And what motive would she have had to kill her sister? Hello. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, Junior. What'd you say, honey? If it didn't have this attention, would there be justice or would it all be gone? I don't know. I guess it depends on LE. What do they have? What do they have? Oh, I'm not laughing at them fools. You might be laughing at them. I ain't laughing at you. You know who I'm laughing at? The other creators who's making videos about them. That's who I've been laughing at. Because I've seen some real funny stuff in the queue. Don't let the queen get started. I've seen some real funny videos, baby. Shut your mouth. A whole lot of shenanigans. Yes, there will be justice. Yes, with the evidence. Yes, exactly. We just have to wait and see. You really don't have any other options pertaining to the case. But you just wait and see how everything's going to pan out. I just hate that it's gone this long. That's where I have the problem, is how long this case is becoming winded. And all you're hearing is buffoonery pertaining to the bio donors. So I'm overhearing about them. I've had just about enough of them. I'm going to read you something off of a channel called Burnt Toast. This is pertaining to the Amber Alert, pertaining to Summer Wjhl. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of that TBI statement. We would also encourage the public to be cautious about donating to private individuals who claim to be working with law enforcement on this case. We've been made aware of several individuals who appear to be using Summer's disappearance for their own personal gain. Period. And this was uploaded originally, I guess, June 16th and then updated 12/15/21. Very interesting. And then we have a channel called Call It As I See It. They have a post they uploaded 10 hours ago. I will read you as it is stated here on their community page. What do you all think about this mess? I do not support Don and Candace at all. I think they know so much more than they've said. I get strong Letitia Starch vibes, but I do not, capital letters not, agree with getting anyone fired from their job or even sent home for the day. Don still has to pay support for the 3 innocent boys, those 2 nasty McNastersons made together. That's funny. Without a job, the state will have to take over, right? I see a lot of mixed emotions in the comments. Some support, some criticism, some that stand where I do. How do you feel? Keep it respectful, please. No need to be hateful. And in the first photograph, you'll see Candy behind the wheel of a red SUV at the job site. Houses in the background, some green looking maybe porta potties or something. And we've got somebody, as most of you know who it is, standing outside of the car with their phone up, filming Candace. And I'll read you some of the comments. Now, they can live off of all our taxes on public assistance. Does that make you proud of yourself? And then that certain person replied, yep. And somebody else said, so let me get this straight. Don lost his job because of heels on the ground. Someone please let me know. Somebody replied, no, he was not fired. It's a lie. And this is from Coffee, Crayons, and Crime, commenting. What kind of monsters are you all? What if he's innocent? Are you going to support him and his family financially? That's funny. They aren't my favorite people, but this has went too far. And then someone replied, what family? Exclamation point times 5. Their neglect and abuse got rid of their family. Interesting. Somebody gave a comment. You haven't been listening. They're comfortable up on that hill. No kids to worry about, sympathy, donations. Best way to make someone move us to make them uncomfortable. JFA, pressure breaks pipes. And then you know who replies. Exactly. Why these imbeciles don't get it, I don't know. Interesting. Many comments. Woo! More comments. Like him or not, causing him to lose his job is wrong on so many levels. The content creator replied with a heart. I don't care about Don or Candace in all honesty. This is from another commenter. I do care about how this feeds to trolls or muddies the water, and when people like BK have room to slither in and spin it around, so Don and Candace are the victims, it saddens me. I also think it makes no sense. What's peaceful about this? It's havoc, and it's not needed. There are other people to consider. The boys, maybe. I find it uncomfortable when things are on the edge. Why push them? It would be whose fault if one of them snap. Justice is needed for Summer. It's like watching a slow-motion car wreck. It's not going to end well, and Summer still won't be here. True. Very true. So one could say, oh, they're on the ground. It's the karma. But are you the ones to give karma to Don and Candy? Who put you in that place? See, everything's about interpretation. You're entitled. See how you want it. See it. Then one can say you're impeding on a man's workplace. You're bothering other people. There's other people there who have to work. They have to make their coins as well. You're disrupting the flow. And then you're in a residential area where there are other houses. This wasn't a business. This was a house around other houses. Kind of like the BS in Florida. So it's not just about this one family you want to cuss and fuss. You're disrupting the peace. And people value their peace because that's why they're homeowners. That's why they lease properties. It's for peace of mind allegedly. So what the hell you doing messing with my peace of mind because you don't like Don and Candy? You mad at them. You got something you got to say about them. But I ain't got nothing to do with that. And that's what people got to understand about running up, banging on doors and hollering and screaming with bullhorns and shit. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't got nothing to do with me. You want to pay my damn bills? My water, my gas, my light, my mortgage? See, that's what people don't think about when you hooping and hollering. Do you want to pay somebody else's damn bills? Because you're disrupting those folks at their location. And they don't have nothing to do with Don or Candy, the Petitos, or whatever case you want to go jump in on. That ain't none of your concern. You're not a detective. You're not a private eye. You're not nothing. You're just somebody that just jumped in head first like a dodo bird. It's not your business. Because as we say in the street, I didn't send for you. So you ain't had no business showing up. It's the bottom line. The only people that should be showing up to anybody's house or business is somebody directly affected in the case, such as my child missing. I think you took my child, killed my child, then hell yeah, I'm mad, I'm coming to your house. But some random ass bloke just jumping up, well, what do you have to do with it? And that's how a lot of people feel. It's not your kid, you don't know him. Why are you there? And you're not there for the right reasons, so possibly you shouldn't be there. Everybody's entitled to their interpretation. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to Don speaking to Wjhl about these folks coming to his job. Candy was scared and crying. And another thing, Don made a comment about being in danger. Don, when were you ever in danger up there in 110 Benton Circle? I'd like to know. I'm confused. I didn't know you was ever in danger. See, that's the line you fed the public about handing your children over to the state. We know it's more to it than that because you're never going to tell us the truth about what really happened with the case, why the people came and took your children, the state. You're never going to reveal that. You're never going to reveal all the times you've been interrogated by TBI, law officials. You're never going to tell us what's said in the interrogation room. You're never going to tell us that because you know if you were to tell us the truth, we would say, oh, hell yeah, they think you did that. You got something to do with that kid getting gone. So you've always left that out, which I find very interesting, you and Candy. You've never told how many times you've been to the interrogation room, how many times they call you in to talk, speak, call you back for more information. Why you don't talk about that? Okay. That's what I thought. Drugs are taking the souls of people. Well, it looks like more people taking the souls of people. See, a drug is just like anything. It doesn't have any value until somebody mixes it up. Such as anything, a car, a dress, a shoe. Nothing has value until a human gives it value, gives it substance, gives it worth. Okay, Black Wolf. What's all the shenanigans about? My local police would arrest them. That's nuts. Christy, where are you? Lost my train of thought. What I was trying to find something. I was trying to find something. Y'all getting a little testy down there. I also want to send a shout out to the people of the Bronx, New York. Most of you know there was a terrible fire there. Several people have passed away. Several children died in a Bronx fire in a high-rise building. So prayers for those who lost their lives in that fire in New York. I have posted a article, video on my community page. If you'd like to check it out, thank you. Yes, Lord. A lot of craziness. Well, that's the latest information I have pertaining to Hollerville. I tell you one thing I can say, I've never seen anything like it. Lord have mercy. I don't know what these people are talking about. Who is this in the chat talking? Sounds like making no sense. Hold on a minute, you guys. I'm going to check the, I got to check something out. It's all this crying down here in the chat. I don't know what they're talking about. You all try to refrain from cursing in the chat, okay? Because they'll hide your comments. The mods will hide your comments if you're cursing, so. I'm trying to keep up with what you all are saying, so I'm going back, rereading your comments. Yes, space heater, yes. I was stunned. I assumed the fire took place like at 3 a.m., something like that, when people were asleep. They said 11 a.m. It was mainly smoke that killed the rest of the people in the building. Very sad. A Black Wolf, you seem to be a bit irate. What's the problem here? I'm in the area. What are you saying? You come living where we live at and do with what we're dealing with right now. Black Wolf, would you like to hit the link to give your opinion? You can't be cursing and doing all that now. I live very close to them, and I did not hear anyone talking about the protesters. See, that's the point I'm trying to make. I've made this point in my lives recently. It's that many people do not even know about the child missing. Many people do not watch the news. Many people do not watch YouTube. So therefore, all this BS that's playing out on YouTube, there's people who don't know anything about it. They don't care to know anything about it. They don't care anything about the story. I've mentioned this story, I don't know how many times, to people who live right here in the surrounding counties outside of Knoxville, Knox County. They don't know the summer's missing, and they're not interested. That's what I keep trying to tell people. People pick and choose the stories that they want to be interested in. And they don't even know the child is missing. So therefore, all this stuff that these people are doing, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Because everybody is not on YouTube. More people, I think, watch Facebook than anything. Participate in Facebook, not YouTube. So, all these people jumping out of clown cars, cakes, wanting to be seen on somebody's panel. Man, nobody's even interested in that stuff. Because there's people who don't even watch YouTube and don't even know the child is missing. They have no idea. They're not interested. It's not to be mean. It's just saying. There's people who are not interested. So all the stuff that everybody's doing, who are you doing it for? Because there are people who don't even know that the little girl's missing. And as I said, you've jumped in the story 5-6 months later. What is the point? Because my thing is, if the people in the town and the surrounding counties aren't interested in standing out there in support or non-support of the Wjhls, what are you proving by being here? Because you would think the people who are in the area would be more invested in getting answers pertaining to the disappearance of Summer Wells. That's just really common sense. Why are the people not invested that live in the area? You don't see nobody from the general area standing outside the Wells house, banging on people's doors in the area, the street, the community, going to all the places where they frequent allegedly. I've heard of nobody. Just as of late, people coming up, making a channel and uploading videos and wanting to go over here to knock on this door, that door. But before, when the story first broke, you didn't hear of anybody going to no hippie house, tobacco place, hospital, swimming hole, none of that. The only person you first heard of going to the swimming hole and going to Alley H was Chris Madonna. Not no random YouTubers. So 5-6 months in, wanting to go run around these small areas to these places, it's like, what is the point? And it's not to be mean, but you have to ask that. And people are going to question that. People who are woke, people who are paying attention to the storyline. Because as it's been said, how are you going to find a child 6 months into a story? You don't even know what's the truth about the story. So how are you going to find the child? I mean, come on. You know, all this old G.I. Joe, Charlie Angel shit, miss me with all that. Keeping it real. It's theatrics, it's reality TV. Like I told you, I've been binge watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. Man, this is neck to neck with Bravo. Cussing and fussing and going on. And I'm like, man, you got to be a lonely ass SOB. You're just lonely. Because I don't get it. I don't see the point. Thank you, Holly, for the donation. Thank you, sweetheart. Yes, creating their own reality TV. Yes, well said. So true. And that's how it seems at this point, that this is just another ugly version of social media reality TV. Just some bored people, don't have anything to focus on. They're lost in their own universe, alternate universe, reality, and they decided to come here. Nobody really cares because, like I said, when you hear that guy talking, telling the people to get on somewhere, that's letting you know right there. If this man don't say anything to the people, the townspeople aren't saying anything, the people in the community aren't rallying, you should be asking yourself, why not? Why aren't they not? Maybe they don't care. Or maybe they're the type, they're concerned, but they're not putting their nose in it. And a lot of people live like this. And this is the very reason why we have a lot of true crime. It's because people don't get involved. And then you also have to pick and choose your battles. Because sometimes what you think is the right thing to do may not turn out to be the right thing to do. And you're not going to know that until you immerse yourself into the drama. Yes, Cash App is fine, sweetheart. Thank you, Holly. Yes, very bizarre. It's a very bizarre story. Bizarre indeed. Well, that's the latest, you guys. I don't have any more information. Everything else that you want to view is up to your discretion in the YouTube queue pertaining to whatever the hell's going on up there. All I can say is if you're not in the general area, and I'm going to say this because it's been repeated, if you're not in the general area where the Wjhls live, you're sure doing a lot of damn driving to go to all these different places to cuss and fuss with bullhorns and then go back and sleep in a whole nother damn jurisdiction. I find that funny. So you're going to ride an airplane to come here to fly here to ride around in a car and go from town to town. Make me understand. I'm confused. How sad that this child is loved by so many strangers, and yet the breeders that brought her into this world treated her with physical abuse and neglect, but cried to get her back. Sorry, karma says no. Okay. Or flying with subs money. Yes. True. Very, very true. It's very, very true. Like I said, you're entitled to your opinion pertaining to the said information. I've already given my opinion about the situation before it even jumped off last month with everybody going over there to that house. I thought it was a bad idea. And then you saw how it unfolded. That's the reason why I said that it wasn't a good idea. Because you don't know what's going to happen when you go to somebody's property. You don't know who's going to come out. You don't know what can jump off. And that's the thing about the unknown. You don't have an idea. And there's no way I would subject myself to being cursed out by somebody, being called nasty names on a live, when I've already was talked bad by the father. He set you up, go over there to meet him. He doesn't show up. Why would you subject yourself to that? That makes no sense. And then you go back there again. See, that right there to me is foolishness. Like going back into the lion's den. Because I'd have never went there in the first place. I'm not that thirsty for likes, views, donations that I'm going to go subject myself to somebody just disrespecting me as a woman. You got to have enough respect for yourself to say, this person doesn't respect himself. He doesn't respect his wife, his children. So why would he respect me? Then he cursed me out. Then I'm going to go fly and go meet with them for what? See, that right there to me is asinine. That's asinine behavior. I don't get it. There's no way. I'm going to have nobody cursing me out, talk crazy to me on a live, on a panel, and visually. Foot to foot, head to head. That's just, that makes, I don't understand that. Make me understand. Because that is asinine. Will he sue them for the loss of his salary? Somebody said he wasn't really fired, so I really don't know. I really don't understand. Let's talk about what happened the month before. Allegedly, Candy filed charges or a complaint against said parties for being on her property. I'd like to know where that stands as of today. Is she following through with that? She and Mr. Wjhl, of these same people trespassing on their property. That's why I said I knew it was a setup when I first heard the rumor a month or so ago. I already knew. I said, nah, this ain't getting ready to work out. This ain't getting ready to work out. Because I knew who was orchestrating it. All the parties involved. I smelled a rat. And the next thing you know, you hear, once again, WJHL News, she's filing a complaint against the said parties. So in your mind, you're thinking, okay, well, I thought they were going there to meet the man. So why are they now pressing charges for trespassing? And you see Mr. Lawson, he immersed himself in that. Well, if they feel the need, blah, 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 they should go ahead. And I didn't understand why Mr. Lawson had any, why would he even be speaking up? Why are you now speaking up on that? I thought that was strange. This is all BS. I don't get down with this type of stuff. This shit is ignorant to me. Junior says, I don't think Candace followed through with pressing charges. Okay. Well, I'm not going to hold you all long. I'm an hour in. Since nobody has decided to give their commentary, I'm not going to prolong the live because it is late in the morning here in the high 10. But that is the said information pertaining to Donald Wjhl. He has spoken to the news. They have given an interview. They have interviewed Mr. Wjhl pertaining to said parties going to his job. Do you think it's right that these people go to his job? Did he actually get fired or he didn't get fired? How does the boss feel now that it has now went to this extent of going to the job? Now what's going to be an afterthought is, will they be back? Okay? Any boss would think that now. Are they going to come back? Are we going to start getting more people to come join in, showing up to the locations where Mr. Wjhl is working? Will I start getting feedback from my clientele, such as the people at homes I'm working on? See, those are the things he now should be thinking about. Frankly, those are things he should have been thinking about months before when the story jumped off. But obviously he did not care because he continued to let Donald Wjhl work for him. So obviously he didn't care. Robin reporter situation. Don was terminated on this property, but not from his workplace. Okay. So he still works for them, but just not on that site. I see. I'm not going, what did you say, near anyone's property where I might get a flare shot at me or possible worse. Okay. My understanding is that they were on public property as per police. I think the pandemic living has made people lose their minds. Well, if you know most Tennesseans, some are still wearing masks, some are not. But a lot of people resumed shortly after the ban was lifted. So people have been going about their day doing things. Just some were wearing a mask and some weren't. Exactly. To have respect for one another, you have to earn respect. I totally agree. Okay, General Jones says, Cornbread Mafia going to show up now. Well, I tell you what. With Donald talking all his smack about people selling drugs, this and that, hey, he talks too much. I've always said that in my commentary. Boy H, he talked too much. Anything could have transpired with all these people talking, implicating people, whether they drop the name or not. So long as the win gets back to somebody else, they know that you know who they are, you are putting your life at risk for something terrible to happen to you. That's just common sense. And I don't think Don cares about anything. So he doesn't mind throwing people under the bus, insinuating, throwing people out there as suspects, this and that. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about his livelihood. And that's why, you know, this is how he and his wife have been living before the children were gone and before Summer went missing. They've never cared about themselves. So they've put their own lives at risk anyway before the child ever went missing. Well, I'm going to check out of here. I thank you all for joining me. Like I said, the information is in the YouTube queue by Wjhl News. If you need a source for the said information, as I said, they interviewed Mr. Wjhl pertaining to the incident at the job site. I don't see an end in sight to the buffoonery. And frankly, like I said, you can view it however you choose to view it. Karma coming back on Mr. Wjhl. Everything's up for interpretation. I just feel like there's a time and place for everything. And I just don't see the benefit of any of this, because my thing is, these are still country folks that are wired differently. And you don't know what the jump off is going to be going over to these people's properties, whether it's public, private. Public or private doesn't have anything to do with somebody pulling out a gun, a knife, or just beating the hell out of you. That one doesn't have anything to do with the other. It just doesn't. And what's right for you isn't right for me. You know, everybody's entitled to think how they want, excuse me, to think about a situation. But this is how people get hurt. And as I said, these people are not related to Summer Wjhl. That's not their child that's missing. Such as the issue with the Petito case. I can see the Petitos being down there banging on these people's doors, Hey, where's my kid? Where's her things? I want answers. That was their child. That's different. But still, the flip side is you would still be disturbing the peace, hooping and hollering every day at these people's house, whether you felt like you were in the right or not. You still would be disturbing the peace. And that's the flip side of thinking what you're doing is right. You're still bothering somebody else. You're still trespassing on private property. Whether you have a stake in the game or not, you're still disturbing the peace. That's where the problem lies. And the fact that somebody could get hurt because you have people who are not going to talk to you. They're not going to argue with you. They're not going to dispute with you. They're just going to bring the bang. It happens every day. And just like Florida, Tennessee is a stand your ground state. So keep going up to people's driveways, private property, public property, running up on somebody's car. You don't know what they're going to do and how they're going to react. See, that's what you're not betting on, is the response. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Anthony 129 Cash App. Thank you all so much for joining me. God bless all of you. I'll be back later with more content pertaining to breaking news and true crime and various topics. Prayers for the people in the Bronx apartment complex where 19 people allegedly passed away. Some are still in the hospital fighting for their lives. This is a very tragic event stemming from a space heater too close to a mattress. The mattress caught on fire, causing damage to apartments and smoke damage. And that is what led to the deaths of the other participants, was the smoke damage. So prayers for New York. Because this is horrible news coming out of New York City. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. God bless all of you.